Welcome, welcome. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for coming this morning. Please share who you are. Give us your name and pronouns, which city you're in, or occupied territories, and what brings you here this morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, we're gonna wait for one more minute to see if anyone else is coming. If you haven't done so already, please share who you are in the chat, your name and pronouns, which city you're zooming in from, and what brings you here this morning. Hello, Anna from LA. Thank you for sharing, Anna. That's so great. We need more of you. We need more allies in this very able-bodied world. All right, welcome, welcome. If you're just arriving, please share your name and pronouns in the chat, what city you're from, and what brings you here this morning. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning with us, the Banyan Tree Collective. My name is Thais Wortham. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm one of the newest instructors at the Banyan Tree Collective. And the Banyan Tree Collective is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based out of the SF Bay Area Peninsula. And we believe that health and wellness access and choice is a human right and should not be determined by your financial status or zip code. We're going to take 2 minutes to just fill out a survey. This is kind of like payment since all the classes at Banyan Tree are free. We need lots of data to get those grants to keep it going. So please just take 2 minutes to do this survey. I'll give you a little more music. For those coming in, please share in the chat who you are, your pronouns, which city you're zooming in from, and what brings you here today. Thank you so much for filling out the class survey and the poll. This really helps us keep these programs free for the community. and it helps our funders know, what they're supporting and know that it works, right? Um, yeah, thank you for taking the time to do it. Great. I see some folks have already started. Thank you so much. All right. Leave it on for another 15 seconds and then we'll get started. All right. I am closing the poll. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me on this early Saturday morning. Um, Again, my name is Thais Wortham. My pronouns are she, her. And before I really dive in, I'm just going to lead us in a grounding activity. So get comfy. Um, yeah, whatever you're doing, maybe you're laying down, but if you're seated, go ahead and get comfortable on the seat. Maybe close your eyes, lower the eyelids, move your body a little bit. Feel the chair beneath your buttocks and the back of the chair supporting your back and your spine. Try to make contact with the earth via the feet, the soles of your feet. Really make sure they're planted on that floor. Good. And just take a deep breath in and exhale it out. Good. Yeah, let's just take a moment to ground ourselves in the space. Feel the breath. Lower the eyelids or close the eyes and just listen to my voice. Feel free to just show up in stillness or move as your body needs to. This is your time for the next 90 minutes or so. And it's okay to meet yourself where you're at. This is a judgment-free, self-judgment-free zone. Let's bring the right hand to the lower belly and the left hand to the heart. And let's just take a moment to locate a challenge or pain point that we're coming in with this morning, or that's been on our minds for a while now. Keep it light but meaningful so as not to trigger yourself. How heavy does that challenge feel on your heart this morning? 10 being the heaviest and 1 being the lightest. Good. Now let's take a collective breath from deep in that lower belly and let it out through the mouth. And on your next inhale, we'll take a breath from deep in that lower belly and we're going to exhale it for 4 counts. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3. Really feeling that inhale coming from the lower belly. Exhale for 4, 3, and feel the belly dropping on that exhale. Good. Inhale for 4. Good. And keep it moving, following the pace of your breath. Maybe you speed it up a tad bit, or you slow it down by half. Move at the pace of your breath, continuing that 4-4 resonance breathing. Taking a moment to feel your breath move throughout your body. Where does it show up in the body? Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe you feel it in the middle of your back. Just notice. What's the quality? Maybe it's sticky, bumpy, fluid. Just notice. Nice. Maybe your seat is a little more settled and you're feeling more grounded. Maybe you're feeling your feet better connected to the earth. Good. Just noticing how the breath shows up in the body when you really take a moment to slow it down. Nice. And when you're ready, take a moment to set your intentions for how you want to show up for this workshop this morning. Nice. And I invite you to bring those intentions to your heart center. Maybe it's presence. Excuse me. Focus. Whatever it is for you, bring them to your heart center, those intentions. And let's take a collective breath from deep in the lower belly to inhale your intentions. And on the exhale, release those intentions throughout every cell of your body. Good, good. And as we ground ourselves and our individual bodies, our collective bodies for this workshop this morning, let's also acknowledge the original stewards of the land that you're zooming in from. Acknowledging the land of the Miwok and Yakuts. We acknowledge the original stewards, past, present, and future, with humility, reverence, and gratitude. Nice, y'all. And you can gently lift the eyelids and open the eyes. And hello, hello to those who are just joining us. A little bit of housekeeping. Chantel, I keep getting Banyan Tree Wellness Team is requesting to record their computer pop-up. I have declined. Is that what I should do?
Yeah, the recording will be posted on our YouTube channel for anybody who wants it afterwards. It'll be posted on our YouTube channel by Tuesday.
Okay, wonderful. I'm not sure why this keeps popping up, but I will continuously decline. Um, all right. So, welcome to How to Reduce Your Pain, Boost Your Energy, and Move Confidently in Your Body. Again, thank you everyone for introducing yourselves and in the chat. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Thais, and I call myself an embodied healing facilitator because I like to help people with chronic illness find their access points in their body using cultural dance traditions as medicine, community connections as care, and joyful downloads as healing. And I came into this work after studying, performing, and teaching dance of the African diaspora, like Afro-Cuban and Afro-Peruvian. And I also came in this arena through working in the arts administration arena across the production and presentation of culturally specific dance, cultural placekeeping, also known as cultural real estate, and also cultural equity grant making. And that's been over the past 20 years. So during this time, I got diagnosed with both chronic Lyme disease and endometriosis. Um, and a whole host of other bugs that I gathered along the way of this very long and arduous journey. But it wasn't until I started exploring the science behind limbic brain injuries and the dysregulation of the autonomic nervous system that I started to heal and come alive again. And when I made it my own for this Black invisibly disabled female body, I was able to feel like I was thriving. And not for the first time. I'm sorry, not again, but actually for the first time in my life. Um, and so that is a little bit of an intro about me. I'll share more of my story later, but first I just want to let you know what to expect for the rest of our time together. Um, so I'm going to give you a preview of this workshop. I'm going to tell you about my first client. I'm going to let you know if you're in the right place. I'm going to introduce the body love framework for getting out of the pain and increasing your energy and taking agency in your body again. And then I'll ask you to fill out a feedback
My
form.
mama saw that. I Dr. Drake. It's from my crib. My mama saw me blowing the Drake. She
Okay.
said that big motherfucker like a gang on Call of
Okay,
Duty.
let me put that one on mute. Thank you. Let's just make sure we're all on mute. Thank you so much. So I'll introduce the Body Love Method framework, ask you to fill out the feedback form, and then I will open it up for Q&A. So the Q&A is going to come at the end. So just remember to write down any questions you have so you don't forget them as we're going through this. I'll be sprinkling in some practices and exercises throughout so that you can take them home with you, and I'll email them to you as well. There will be an opportunity for you to share your email with me, um, and you'll have that so that you'll be able to, yeah, hopefully bring some pain levels down, get some of your energy back, and experience some liberation in your movement again. A little bit of housekeeping. You'll need some paper, so preferably 8.5 by 11. We're going to be doing some drawing. You can see a drawing behind me. You have a little preview. And if you have any colored pencils or markers or pens, that would be great, preferably red, yellow, and green. But any other colors will work. If you don't have that, no worries. You can use symbols and circles and crosses and X's to determine the differences in how your framework comes out. Let's see. So you could,
Guys,
yeah, yes,
can you check your messages?
check my messages. Okay, let's see. check my messages. I've got lots of messages, so bear with me.
Yeah, Mirage, you're going to need to stop sending all of those spam messages. I'm going to ask you once. And if you don't stop, Thais is going to kick you out of the class.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Chantel. And I will look out for Mirage. Okay.
No, you don't need to look out for Mirage. You need to click on their three dots and kick them out of the class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Remove. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, let's just take a breath to reset. Just a little regrounding. Maybe lower the eyelids, close the eyes, feel your seat beneath you, your back up against the chair, your feet making contact with the earth. Move the head from side to side. Maybe the shoulders come with you. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Take a moment to look at something beautiful in the room, something brightly colored and green, something that reminds you of what brings beauty in your life. Nice. All right. Coming back to center. What a great way to demonstrate and practice what we're learning today. Nervous system resetting and limbic brain retraining. So, all right. Um, hopefully everyone has something to write with. You have your colored markers and pencils with you, and I encourage you to take notes throughout the session. Um, I will be dropping what I believe are gems today, and we will be drawing out the framework for you to take home with you. So save any questions, write them down for the end. Okay. So moving forward. As an embodied facilitator, I meet lots of folks who tell me that, they've lost their ability and confidence to move their bodies due to some type of chronic illness, chronic stress, an autoimmune condition, or some other mysterious chronic condition that, nobody can figure out, not even the doctors. They also share about their resentment towards the healthcare system, like Kaiser, um, the doctors, the insurance plans, due to what shows up as systemically oppressive practices that are demeaning and discriminatory and even predatory at times, especially for Black and Brown folks. They say, I can't walk to work anymore due to the pain. They say day-to-day living is challenging for me. They say, I never feel like I'm rested. They say it's hard as a sick person to move my body when I feel like shit. They say the energy I'm using to fight Kaiser is the energy I need to be active to lose the weight that they want me to lose in order to do the surgery they want me to do. They say I have a socially limited life. They say I feel betrayed by my body. And so I asked them, well, what are you doing, you know, to care for yourself and, these conditions. And, they're like, I need to go back to my doctor. I need to get back on my meds, um, get treated. They say, if I just get back on my diet, I'll feel better in my body. Maybe you can relate. Anybody? Yeah. Well, you can absolutely regain trust in your body again and even function better than before, even better and before your symptoms started. And I am a living testament to that. Um, I'm going to tell you a story about my first client, me. Um, so I crashed for the third time. And yes, the third time, I'm very stubborn. And I had to go on disability for the first time in my life. And that lasted for a year. And it was absolutely devastating for me because my whole sense of identity disappeared before my eyes. And I was questioning, well, what does it mean to not be able-bodied anymore? Thinking that I was able-bodied the whole time, when I wasn't. What does it mean to not be professional anymore? Or am I still professional? Am I still a dancer? So many questions in the midst and on top of all the pain, the excruciating pain that I was going through. And these were my darkest and most painful days of my journey. And at the time, my doctor would ask me if I had restarted the limbic brain work, and I'd always say no. I'm already in therapy, thinking that it was a substitution for therapy or some type of meditation. But little did I know that limbic brain work would be the golden key to my healing, because limbic brain work helps turn off those survival, danger, and pain signals that are on repeat, even when there is no threat in our internal or external environments. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But getting back to the story, finally, I was so frustrated with the state of my health and my rapid decline that I picked up the limbic brain work again. And that's when things really started to shift for me. And I realized that I had to take my healthcare into my own hands. I couldn't rely on the doctors to save me or cure me. I had to take an active role in my healing. And once I started to regain a sense of body empowerment, I started to feel better and have more energy and less pain. So I started teaching my movement classes. And once I knew that I was on the right path, I started to understand that all of these practices, all of these healing practices that I was doing needed to be done together. The movement, the breath work, the brain work. This culturally integrated, movement-based brain retraining system was exceptionally transformational for my journey, for my healing journey. And so the Body Love Method was born to share with my community, especially with communities of color and queer and trans communities. I teach my clients a multi-step method that brings joy back into their lives and that inspires confidence in their body's innate ability to heal itself. And so how did I develop this system? Well, remember when I told you I restarted the brain retraining work? Well, I put it down again. And that's because I just couldn't relate to it as a Black-bodied female. I understood the science behind it, but I could not, um, I had no motivation to continue that practice. And I knew I wasn't alone in this. Back when I was on disability, I had no system to help me access all of these healing practices with ease and that was individualized to my body, my Black body, my female body, my dancing body, my cultural background. So I decided to invest in building my agency, and I ended up studying 2 limbic brain programs. and diving deep into research on the autonomic and nervous systems. Okay, let me just take a pause here and make sure that everyone is muted because we are getting mute all. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I did these retraining programs, did a deep dive into the autonomic nervous system and did a lot of research on that. And, I had to make the limbic brain and nervous system work my own, something that I could look forward to doing on a consistent basis. And I realized that I needed to connect this to my own cultural and ancestral practices. So I started to leverage dance and song from the folkloric, contemporary, and popular traditions of the African diaspora. I even tapped into inspired movement traditions outside of my culture, like hula and Bollywood. And by engaging these cultural traditions, I was able to easily access the limbic brain and nervous system work. And this brought me so much joy and so much relief in my body. And eventually, I knew that in order to keep this up, I had to um, I had to be in community. I needed community to hold me accountable, but also to be a source of healing for me, to encourage and motivate me, and for me to also support them. So connecting the limbic brain work to cultural traditions literally opens up everything else. The nervous system work, renewed movement practices, and community and reintegration. And before making this critical connection, I had no capacity to do anything for myself, but the basics to survive. I had no capacity to heal. And after I created this culturally integrated movement based brain retraining system for my needs, my diet expanded and I was able to eat out again. I was able to take long, vigorous walks in my healing neighborhood. And I was willing and able to see family and friends again because, as you know, we are not flaky. We're just sick all the time. So eventually, I was able to go back to work. And this was so empowering, to have created a system just for me, a Black, invisibly disabled female body that got me functioning as an active and contributing member to society again. This created a new sense of self and gave me space to thrive. This experience really allowed me to dream for my future again. I had the power to create the vision I wanted for my health, myself, and my family and my community. And now I'm sharing this with you, and your vision and your life and your health can be whatever you want. The point is that it all started with a culturally integrated movement-based brain retraining program for healing. So now that I've given you a bit of a background of myself and a preview into the system that I use to reduce pain, increase energy, and build confidence in the body again, let's just make sure you're in the right place. I know a lot of y'all wrote some things in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, and so now we're really gonna look here and see who is in the room. So you are not in the right place if you just want a magic pill and want everything to go away and fast. Believe me, I was there. I did that for many years. And that's why I'm here with you today, so you don't have to do that. You are not in the right place if you don't want to take an active role um, in your health and healing. Just take a note. That's all. Now, raise your hand. There might be a little raise your hand function at the bottom of your screen if you if these apply to you. You are in the right place, and this workshop is especially for you if you've been living with Lyme disease and or another complex chronic multisystemic illness or condition for several years now. You are in the right place if you're just starting your Lyme and or chronic illness journey. Okay, I see the hands. Thank you. You are in the right place if you've been dealing with symptoms or an injury but haven't quite figured out how to address it or move towards healing. If you've tried all the treatments, all the meds, supplements, seen all the doctors, practitioners, and are still in pain and suffering. If you actually are following your doctor's protocols down to a T, you're on the diet, you're taking the 30 to 50 pills a day, but the daily functions of life are still challenging. If you feel like you're losing control over your body is escaping you. If you believe that you can thrive in life despite your illnesses, conditions, symptoms, and or injuries. And if only one of these statements are true for you, you're in the right place. Okay. And if only one of these statements are true to you, are true for you, and you self-identify as BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, or queer, trans, person of color, you're definitely in the right place. And I hope you get a lot out of this workshop. And I just want to take a pause. I did remove Jade from the room.
And Thais, there's another one, the same person, so you might want to need to remove them again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, lots of trolls today. All right, so excuse the bad behavior this morning. All right. So let's just reset one more time. Hopefully, well, actually, we're doing more of this. That's okay. And find your seat. Feel the chair supporting you underneath your butt, against the back, underneath your feet. And take a deep breath in from deep in the belly. And exhale out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling from deep in that lower belly. And exhaling from the mouth. Again, making contact with beauty and your surroundings, what brings you immediate joy. Maybe you're looking at the bright sunny skies this morning, looking at the beautiful plant on your desk, or maybe it's a memory that brings you instant joy. Let's inhale that beautiful memory, that joyful instant memory from deep in the belly, and exhale it out through every cell of your body. Nice, y'all. And thank you so much for your patience. You can gently come back and we will resume. So it looks like many of you are in the right place, and I invite you to get comfortable and again, take notes, and any questions that come up, please write them down and I will address them at the end. So what I'm going to do now is take you through my framework for helping you reduce your pain, boost your energy, and move confidently in your body again. And I want you to imagine and really pause right now. I really want you to pause and take a deep breath, okay, to think about this. You know, imagine what would that mean to you and your health? What would that mean for your future if you were able to live with less pain, a lot more energy, and more confidence in how you move in your body? Take a moment, you can draw it out, you can write it out. What would it do for you if you were able to move in your body with ease, energy, and confidence? Ooh, sorry, I will put on a little music here. Okay. Okay, we got a little disaster here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to delete that. So it's just going to have to stay there for now, and we're just going to have to ignore it. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you all, and I would love to hear, what impact would that have on you in your life? Who would like to share? Okay, you can unmute yourself. Would anybody like to share? You can share in the chat as well. Okay.
Guys, can you repeat the question? Because I was a little distracted.
The question is, what would it do for you if you were able to move in your body with ease, energy, and confidence? Imagine returning to your dreams, future visions for yourself, your life. Imagine engaging in your favorite activities, energized with reserves and more spoons. Imagine your body expressing itself authentically in movement that allows you the freedom to live your life as you want. Oh, yay. We have dancing. I would be dancing 3 times a week and be able to maintain energy throughout the day. Thank you, Tabby. Well, that is a beautiful dream, Tabby, and I hope all of this feels exciting for all of you as well, because it's absolutely possible with a system in place that meets you where you're at, that respects you and your body's wisdom, and co-creates a plan with you. So we're going to go through the 3 steps to reducing your pain, increasing your energy, and moving confidently in your body again. But before we go deeper, this is the time to really focus in and silence your phones. I believe we have all of the trolls out of the room, so we should be focused from here out, and be present. Um, because yeah, I have a beautiful framework to share with you all. And now is the time to take notes. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much for sharing. I would be free. It would be freeing. It would be lighter. Oh, Fran, I'd be free from physical pain. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. So we're going to move towards those visions, those beautiful dreams. Um, all right. Again, write down your questions and I'll be happy to answer them afterwards. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be moving around a little bit. Okay. Um, all right. So get out your, we're going to be starting with a Venn diagram. And, um, and we're going to use, some colors afterwards to basically determine where you're at on your healing journey based on this framework. So just know that. So have 3 colors that are separate from the colors that you're using here to draw everything out and fill everything in. Okay? Yay, Venn diagrams. Okay, so we're going to start with a circle in the upper quadrant here. And then we're going to draw our second circle to the left and our third circle to the right. Oh, that's too big. You want a little room to make some outer circles. So we're going to kind of cut that. So it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, mine are pretty janky. So as long as you got your circles overlapping, we're going to put our divots here. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to draw the first outer circle here. And we're going to make 3 boxes. And then right here is where we're moving towards a loving, thriving, and fulfilling life. Okay, so let's see here. Let me make sure I have this up so I can see y'all if you are messaging me. Okay, all right. So the first step to reduce your pain, boost your energy, and move confidently in your body again is reclaim your body. So we'll write that here. And you can write it on yours as well. Reclaim your body. So, as people with chronic illness, we experience so much suffering. We lose our bodies, we lose our identities. And in order to regain ownership over my body again, feel liberated and empowered in my body again, I did these 3 things. So the first ingredient to reclaim your body is find comfort in stillness. Find comfort in stillness. And we'll write that in the first box to the left. Find comfort in stillness. So with my clients, what I do is we start our community classes with stillness. And basically with any movement that we do. In yoga, the resting pose is Shavasana, and that happens at the end of class. But here, I like to start, I like to leverage stillness in order to basically facilitate rest and restoration, so that the body builds its capacity to receive the healing that is to come. Okay. All right. So that is find comfort in stillness. The second ingredient to reclaim your body is explore liberatory movement. Explore liberatory movement. Explore liberatory movement. I hope you all can see this. Please let me know in the chat. So in exploring liberatory movement, thank you so much, Fran. I help my clients assess their access points. I like to say, find your access points. And I use a tool that I call the access points assessment, so that my clients meet themselves where they're at every time with grace and forgiveness and without self-judgment. Wonderful. Thank you, Anna, for the feedback. The third ingredient is ground in cultural movement practices. And excuse me, because I am going to be writing upside down. I'm going to do my best. Okay, yep, see, I'm already. Ground in cultural movement practices. Okay. So together I work with my clients to connect with their own cultural traditions or borrow from others with respect, honor, and humility. Using a co-creative process I call culture movement grounding. And in this process, we are identifying the body's needs with the medicine found in cultural movement practices. So, you know, cultural movement is inherently accessible to the body. You know, our ancestors intentionally created it this way so that everyone in the community can participate from zero to 125 years old, right? Okay, so these are the three ingredients to the first step of reclaim your body. And I think what we're going to do now is put this into a little bit of practice. So we're going to do a dance. Yay. So you can either stand up or sit down. I'm going to be in the chair. So we are going to be dancing to Ogun. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit so you can see me. Okay. We are going to do a dance out of the Afro-Cuban folkloric performative tradition. And in this tradition, we are dancing, we are bringing the energy and spirit of the Orishas. The Orishas are like deities and gods and goddesses, kind of like in the Hindu religion, right? So Ogun carries a machete, okay? And he has a machete in his right hand and he has a shield in his left hand, and he's clearing the path and he's cutting all the junk, all the obstacles, all of the challenges, moving through the challenges, right? In order to, what we're doing is get to healing, right? We're getting to that place where we can thrive even despite our illness, right? Even despite our conditions, okay? So we're going to be doing some movement to some music, and just follow along with me. And then we'll end with some more downloads, okay? All right. Are y'all with me? Can y'all just be like, I'm with you in the chat, or just say yes? Okay, thank you, Anna. Let's get started. My body is beautiful. Okay. All right. So we have our machete in our right hand, our shield in our left hand, and we're going to start slow, okay? So you're in your chair or you're standing up. Cut. Open. Cut. Open. We're going to take it back. 1, 2, take it forward, 1, 2. We're going to open and cut, open, cut, open. We're going to take it back, 1, 2, take it forward, 1, 2. Half time. We're going to bring the arms up and out. Up and out. And out. Up and to the right, down right, up, down left. Up and open, up and open. Let's do double time. Tempo. Nice, y'all. If it's available to you, you have options. Open and cut. Open and cut. We're going to take it back. 1, 2. Take it forward. 2. We're going to open and cut. So we're clearing the path. Clearing the path to healing. We're going to take it back to reset. We're going to take it forward to move through those challenges and obstacles. Take it up and out. Up and out. We're going to move to the right. Up and out. Up and out. Now we're going to just move here. Take it down. And move. Take it down. Smooth it out. Widen the body. Nice. We're going to cut. 1. Open. Cut. And open. We're going to take it back to reset the body. We're going to take it forward to move through those challenges. We're going to open and cut. Open and cut. Take it back to reset. Yep. Take it forward, going through the obstacles. Up and out. Up and out. We're going to go tempo. Up, out, up, out, up, out. If it's available to you, right? If it's available to you, you can always go half time. Up and up. Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Tempo. Up, out, up, out, up, out, up, out, out, up, out. Nice, y'all. Tempo. Cut. 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 Clearing the path. Clearing that path. Take it back. Reset. Take it forward. Obstacle. Tempo. Cut. Cut. So we're cutting all of the mess out of our life, all the things that aren't serving us, taking it back. Good. Moving through the challenges. Take it up. And out. Up and out. Up up and out. Remember, modify. So you got half time, you got tempo, and you got even double half time. Right? Good. Nice. Okay, we're going to wind it out. Nice. Take it down. Nice. Good, y'all. Nice. Bring your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Nice. And I want you to reconnect with that challenge, that pain point that you located at the top of the workshop this morning. And I want you to think of a future dream vision that brings you instant joy. Maybe it's something that is happening tomorrow. Maybe you're going to the beach, your favorite place. Whatever that is, maybe that's your future dream vision. Maybe you're meeting with your best friend next week that you haven't seen in so long. Or maybe you're writing that book that you always wanted to write. And maybe that's 5 years out. Whatever it is, whatever brings you instant joy, connecting that instant joy, that future dream vision. What do you see? Who are you with in this future dream vision? What do you smell, hear, taste, feel in your body? I am literally just laid out on my couch watching mindless TV. And I hear the TV in the background, but I'm looking outside my window at the beautiful trees and at the greenery. And I smell someone cooking downstairs. It smells like bacon. I hear the lawnmowers next door to me. And that stubborn pain in my back is dissipating slowly. Connecting to your joyful body connection. And inhaling that joyful body connection from deep in your belly. And exhaling your joyful body connection throughout every cell of your body. Good. Let's do that again. Inhaling your joyful body connection. And exhaling it out through every cell of your body. Nice. Coming back to that challenge, that pain point. How heavy is it on your heart now? 10 being the heaviest, 1 being the lightest. And just take a note. Nice, y'all. Coming back. It's done, it's done, it's done. Amen. Ashe. Thank you so much for joining me in that activity. That is an example of how we reclaim our body. We move to music, we connect with our culture, or we borrow from another culture. Um, no. And um, And, it's really about leveraging that movement to access our next step, to increase your energy and move confidently in your body again and reduce that pain. Because dance, we know that it boosts, we know it boosts our mood and it keeps us fit, but it actually increases the size of our hippocampus in our brain. It's in our limbic brain. And that's a good thing because our hippocampus carries our long-term positive memories. And so we want to fill that up as much as possible. We want to expand it as much as possible. So that's what, dance and connecting with your cultural dance traditions can do. And it improves our cognitive function as well. And then also it improves the neuroplasticity of the brain, which is limbic brain work and, the ability for the brain to change. So that's what we're doing today. So let's continue to learn more about that in step 2 and resource your innate joy. I'm going to move this up a little bit more. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to move to step 2, resource your innate joy. Okay. Okay, so let's draw our outer circle here. I'll start out here and we'll do our 3 boxes. And we'll start with our first ingredient of Rejuvenate Joy. Um, and that is reset your nervous system. Because reset your nervous system. Because, as chronically ill folks, we know, the deep blue mood, we know that all too well, right? And so in order to get out of those loops of negative belief patterns, um, and instead find joy throughout every cell of our body, we need to start with resetting our nervous systems. And so with my clients, we run through a nervous system reset exercises that addresses our maladaptive stress response, also known as fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. And we do that to help bring down the inflammatory response and provide healthy options for ongoing and surprise stressors that are inevitable, right, in life. And that 4-4 resonance breathing exercise that we did at the top of the workshop, that's just one of the tools that we use in this toolkit. And then the second one is rewire your brain, second ingredient. Okay, I'm a little backwards here. Okay, rewire your brain. And so this is the brain-body connection that addresses the brain injury that is the chronic illness, that is the trauma loop patterns, that is the pain signals on autopilot. So again, we're working with our flight, fight, freeze, fawn mode here, but it's in the brain versus in the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so I use a practice called joyful downloads to repair the brain injury and reprogram the limbic system to turn off those pain signals and tell the body that there is no danger here anymore. You are safe. Um, so we just did that after our Ogun dance. We did a joyful download. We did the future dream visioning exercise. Okay, and then the last one is, I'm going to turn this way. The last ingredient to resource your innate joy is receive instant healing. Okay, and here, um, we have these limiting beliefs that keep us in those dark spaces and that keep us sick. For me, it's my fault that I'm sick, or I will never get better. Can anyone relate? Just let me know in the chat if you can relate to these types of limiting beliefs. It doesn't have to be exact. But what I do with my clients here are laser theta healing sessions. Yeah, I see you, Anna. Thank you for sharing. Um, I do laser theta healing sessions that uses our theta brain waves to basically unravel and disrupt these layers of limiting beliefs instantly. And my client simply receives here. They sit back and I do all the work for the most part. You do some, but so I used these 3 ingredients for resourcing your innate joy. Reset your nervous system, rewire your brain, receive instant healing. In order to heal. And so the body love method leverages the movement in the first step in order to access the nervous system work and the brain work to facilitate the instant healing. Okay, and we practice that all together, right, with the Ogun piece and the joyful downloads. Okay, so now once we get through here, the body is ready to open up again to the world and begin to reconnect with community and enter into society again. And so our third step to reduce your pain, boost your energy, and move confidently in the body is rejuvenate in community. Rejuvenate in community. Okay, so for those of us with Lyme or autoimmune conditions, some chronic illness, it's a lonely journey. For me, no one understood, what I was going through because Lyme isn't a familiar disease, it's not well researched. And so when the doctor doesn't even know how to support you, right, you just go into this loneliness and helplessness, it goes deep, right? And so to get myself out of isolation and loneliness and build a community of support, I did these three things. First, oops, forgot to change my colors here and draw our outer circle. Sorry about that. We'll do that. And we'll do our 3 boxes. Okay, so first step is map your community care circle. So I'm going to turn this way. Map your community care circle. So here, it's what I like to do with my clients is work together to create their community care circle, to know exactly who is on their support team across all their needs, from work and family, childcare, medication support, to nutrition and financial support, so that when things get tough, they have easy access to their support team. And then the support team is informed and aware as well, because we know a lot of times people don't even know that you're relying on them. Okay, and then the second ingredient is map your resource network. Map your resource network. Okay, so here I help my clients expand their access to the resources they need to not only function, but to thrive as they navigate their health and healing journey with a resource network, which is a database that we all co-create together, all of my clients. It's their favorite resources, my favorite resources, the doctors, the medications, the treatments, the strategies for working while disabled, the disability process. So we do that. We're always adding to that and using it. Okay. And then the last ingredient is rebuild trust in community. And so here with my clients, we meet every couple weeks with everyone in my program in the community class, which I mentioned earlier, to begin to build trust again in people through storytelling, movement practices, and other trust building exercises. So that's what I use to rejuvenate in community again. And that completes our framework. And I know yours looks so much better than mine. But this is going to be a really great tool for you. So now we're going to do our first framework activity. So we're going to do some assessment. I'm going to give you some assessment questions for you for each of the steps of and its ingredients on your paper where you drew this. Okay, that's why you need the 3 colors. So you'll rate yourself on each of the 3 ingredients by coloring in each one. So I use red, yellow, or green over my ingredients. And basically what you'll do is like, I'll say a statement and you'll be like, no, I don't do that at all. I don't find comfort in stillness. I hate stillness. I can't do it. Or I'm in too much pain to do it, right? And you'll just color it in with red, right? You'll color it in with red, okay? So And I'll give you some more context. But red is nope, and I'm going to sit down. Red is nope, I totally don't know this. I don't have it in place. This is a missing piece for me. Yellow is I kind of do this, but it's not super strong, streamlined, or working for me. And green is yes, I do this, I got this, okay? And I'm going to give you some more context as we go through. So for Reclaim Your Body, and I'm going to go through these a little bit quickly because we are running out of time due to all of the pauses that interruptions we had. So first question, Reclaim Your Body. To what degree are you comfortable with being in stillness? A red would be like, I can't sit still. Nope, that's not for me. A yellow would be, I can manage sitting with my thoughts, feelings, and physical pain sometimes, but not regularly. And a green would be like, I've had a meditation practice for years and practice regularly. Second question, and we're moving to explore liberatory movement now. To what degree, oh yeah, and make sure you do, and you color in red, yellow, or green here, okay? To what degree do you explore liberatory movement? A red would be like, I 100% know that I have resigned my body over to the system and I have no agency over my body. The bugs and system have taken ownership. A yellow would be like, I find it challenging to find my access points in my body when everything feels off and I feel like shit all the time. And a green would be like, I definitely change up my movement practice depending on how my body is feeling on a regular basis. And I feel liberated and empowered in my body and choices. Third question, to what degree do you integrate cultural movement practices into your health and healing journey? So we're here. A red would be like, I don't have access to any type of cultural movement practices where I live, and I don't feel any connection to my culture or ancestors. And a yellow would be, I am aware of the healing power of my ancestral lineage, but I have no clue how to tap into it authentically and respectfully. And a green would be, I tap into my cultural movement practices regularly and or borrow from others for my healing. All right, step 2, resource your innate joy. To what degree are you resetting your nervous system? Color in red. If color in red, coloring in red would be like, I don't have this practice in my toolbox. Coloring in yellow would be like, I find it challenging to stop what I'm doing to engage in nervous system practices. So it's on and off for me. Coloring in green would be, I have a regular practice and actually practice throughout the day, most days, to stay regulated. Second question here, to what degree are you rewiring your brain? Coloring in red would be like, I don't have this practice in my toolbox. Coloring in yellow would be like, I find it challenging to stop what I'm doing to engage in the limbic brain practices, so it's on and off for me. And coloring in green would be, I have a regular practice and actually practice throughout the day, most days, to stay regulated. Third question, to what degree are you receiving instant healing? A red would be like, I've never done anything like this before. A yellow would be like, I've done other types of energy work and body work, like massage, but they don't necessarily challenge my limiting beliefs. And a green would be like, I am familiar with theta healing, or I have engaged in other energy work that addresses my limiting beliefs, where I just receive the healing. All right. Step 3, rejuvenate in community. Where are you at? To what degree are you mapping your community care plan for yourself? A red would be like, I have nothing like this. I have nobody. A yellow would be like, I started one, but I have a hard time using it. I don't want to burden others with my issues. And a green would be like, I have one already and use it all the time. Second question, to what degree are you mapping the resources in your community? A red would be like, I am not connected and have no idea where to start. A yellow would be like, I had a bad experience with one of those, so I found it challenging to rely on them for future use. And a green would be like, I'm part of a trusted community and I refer to our resource network map regularly to add information to and use information. And the third question, to what degree are you building or rebuilding your trust in people in your community? A red would be like, I haven't really told anyone what I'm going through. I'm scared that it will be used against me. A yellow would be like, I have tried to join chronic illness groups, but I found it challenging to navigate in but I found it challenging to navigate. And a green would be like, I finally found a community of BIPOC folks with chronic illness that I trust and find connection in. All right. Where are folks landing? What colors are popping up? What are the themes that are popping up? Anyone want to come off mute and speak or write in the chat? Would love to hear.
I can share.
Okay, thanks, Tabby.
There's a lot of yellow.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, I have resources, I've done things, but not consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard part. The consistent practice and creating a practice that is really conducive to your body and your pacing, right? There's so much in there. The ableism and yeah, just there's a lot in there. And how do we create and navigate that and create something that is going to be attractive for us, and not just medicinal or healing, but that really meets us where we're at. Thanks for sharing, Tabby. Anyone else? Well, these are the 3 steps to reduce your pain. Let's see, where should I write this at? Okay. These are the 3 steps to reduce your pain. Boost your energy and move confidently in your body again. And that's via the body love method. And what I like to do, when it comes to implementing these principles with my clients is I break them down into practical strategies and tactics. And, we actually work on a plan to meet them where they're at. So I just want to point out here that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And so to review, it's important to leverage the movement, right, and reclaim your body to access the nervous system, to access the brain work, the limbic brain work, to facilitate the healing and resource your innate joy. And together, this creates spaciousness in the body and the body systems, right, to rejuvenate in community. And so, once this happens, you discover, let's see, maybe we can do this. Body liberation, body empowerment, and body belonging and connection. And that's when we arrive at thriving, a loving, thriving, and fulfilling life. Okay. So it's a multi-step system that when put all together, it really transforms the way people move in their bodies despite their illness. And while I hope this, big picture, principles that I presented today are really useful and helpful for you, and eye-opening, hopefully you got some gems. The real results really come from putting it all together and implementing. And if you would like to talk with me about how to reduce your pain, boost your energy, and move confidently in your body, again, I invite you to, to schedule a body liberation call with me. And we can talk one-on-one about your situation and working with me in the body love method. Um, and I want to just open it up to questions now, but first let me give you the feedback form, give you a couple minutes to fill out this feedback form for me. And then we'll get to the questions. I'm going to put that in the chat, the feedback form for everyone. And I know we're running a little bit over. Hopefully people can stay for another 5 minutes. That would be wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully the form works for y'all. Good. Yeah, it should work. Okay, I'm going to turn on some music for you. Okay. Seu fim do nosso amor. Perdoa, por favor. Eu sei que aconteceu, mas não sei o que fez. Tudo muda de vez. Onde foi que eu errei? Só sei que amei, que amei, que amei, que amei. All right, I see the responses coming in. Thank you very much. Give another minute. Okay, thank you all for filling out that form. For me, I'd love to just hear, yeah, what are your takeaways? What was your most useful tool, practice, exercise, idea, nugget that you're walking away with? What's arising in your body this morning? Oh, thank you, Daniela. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week. Any questions? Okay, question. What are some ways to learn, tap into cultural movement practices? Well, I'm assuming everyone here is in the Bay, and sorry, Anna, I didn't see where you were coming from at the top of this, um, but the Bay Area is like the mecca of like world dance, probably in the country. So I would I would start with the San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival. Actually, they're called the World Arts West Dance Festival, um, and ooh, they are they're like 45 years old now, and they have archives. So and they have a performance actually coming up at the Presidio Tunnel Tops. Oh, such a beautiful location. If you haven't been, please go, everybody. But they'll have their festival there, their performances, um, and it's just a great way to like start to think about like, okay, what are my cultural traditions? If I don't see them on this stage, like what are they? And really start to be curious, and just start to you could actually look. I believe they have archives too. Um, you can go to them and ask them, I'm looking for this particular culture. Are there any dances, any groups in the Bay Area that you know about? I would start there because they're just a wonderful, wonderful resource. Yeah, yeah. Of course, you can always Google, but um, you hang out with me, you'll start to learn more as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you all. I know this is a beautiful Saturday, so let's get you guys out and outside. So let's bring our right hand to our belly and our left hand to our hearts for our closing exercise. Um, yeah, let's just take a deep breath in and out through the mouth. And coming back to that challenge, that pain point that we located at the top of the workshop. How heavy is it on your heart now? Nice. Taking in one more deep breath from deep in that lower belly and exhaling out everything that you want to release, anything that doesn't serve you. Releasing. Cleansing breath. Good. And when you're ready, lift the eyelids and come to. Thank you all so much. For those who filled out the form, I will be emailing you all the exercises and tools that we did today, along with the Afro Body Love playlist. Um, as again, the Banyan Tree Women's Collective um, is a nonprofit, so any donations um, would be certainly accepted, and we would be so grateful. And if you don't have the means, please just let your friends know about Banyan Tree Women and our services. We have so many services, from like nutrition cooking class to salsa samba class and everything in between. So please let folks know. Have a beautiful day, and yeah, there's a survey when you exit, so please go ahead and fill that out as well. All right, bye.